You don't have to be an industry expert to realize that there's some tension in the automotive world at the moment. We have all these new technologies trying to come online, from electrification, digitization, autonomy, and there's a gap between how fast we think this stuff is going to come out and how fast it actually does, right? There's a lot of different adoption philosophies on this. All technology presents solutions in different ways. And there's technology supporting the rollout of new technology, right? Stuff we do just to make adoption faster and transitions quicker. And so we've got this movement right now to electrify everything. Everything must be electric now, right? And it's a binary issue. It's suddenly you're either good if you're electric, you're bad if you're not. But that's just not how technology works. It's not binary. It's just, there's a scientific method to transitioning into do different things. Why we're doing this? Why are we rushing into new products in the name of sustainability? The why for electric cars, for many promotion and incentive of electric cars, is that they're more sustainable, or they operate more efficiently, which they do. Electric cars are a good step in the right direction of reducing individual carbon output of each individual. But it's like a technology like anything else. It is an improvement, but it's not a guarantee. So there's a dichotomy between what automakers are faced with giving us, new products that are cleaner, and the idea of sustainability being inherent in that. But it's not. I mean, sustainability and lowering our impact, our individual impact, it's a lot about making things which last a long time while also providing profit and financial sustainability for the companies that make them. So what's happened is we've conflated the purpose of selling green cars with the actual philosophy of what it means to be green. It's part of the natural order of business to bank on replacing old products with new ones. So that's worth an examination. It's worth looking into. That if we're going to make a bunch of new stuff, what is going to happen the next time? Technology inevitably gets better. As unpredictable as new adoption rates are, as unpredictable as markets can be, people's demand, the actual materials availability and infrastructure and supply chain, all those things that are required to operate well for new cars to be made, how can we profitably produce cars which have new technology in them, give us a reason to get new product on the streets, and also future-proof them from whatever wave of disruption is next, because there is more. As unpredictable as the car market has been in the last decade, as unpredictable as that is and what will happen in the future, what we can predict is that new technology will come out. And the challenge is not, can we make really cool stuff? We can. We can make almost any hardware possible, but scaling it to the masses is the hard part. We can make cars which can do anything. Typically, the highest tech cars in the world depreciate the quickest. So you're offering low incentive for everyone to participate in that. It's something only a few people can afford to do, get the highest tech thing. And this keeps happening. The fancy disruption of yesterday inevitably becomes today's expectation, and obsolescence tomorrow. Obsolescence is something we're constantly battling. With good intentions in trying to be more sustainable and driven by electric, and giving us what people think we want. In trying to do all this, the industry has put itself at risk of relevance. And the answer has so far been to subsidize and to reduce investment in how vehicles are made. The cautionary tale is that we should not take a path where we are incentivizing a higher turnover of products, of cars, making them cheaper and easily thrown away. We have to make cars affordable. In order to make them affordable, making them in such a way that their technological relevance, their repairability, and their cost is going to have a negative impact on the future. That's what we're talking about here. If you're selling a car for a reason, that's supposed to claim it's more efficient, it should also be one that can be adaptable. So we have to think outside of what is this current thing, how clean is this current product, and not reduce the investment in that product. Recycle and throwing away are the last tenets of modern sustainability. Recycling has promise, and we do have to think of end of life, but we should be prolonging end of life as long as possible. With each piece of mega casting we produce, with each piece of steel we stamp, with each needle we thread through an interior seat, every part on the vehicle should be optimized to be upgradable, upfittable, and for longevity. And when you do that, when you design for longevity, you incidentally unlock better car quality. And that is a staple that car companies consistently forget every 10 years. The last time this happened was end of 2009, post 2008. Yes, we had financial issues, and it was reflected in the cars just coming out like crap. And then we had a resurgence, we had a renaissance of quality, and the industry learned just make cars better. Now, 10, 12, 13 years later, that same issue is coming back to bite us, where we've forgotten that you still have to make the cars really well. People notice. When people have a bad ownership experience, it doesn't matter if it's an electric car or a gas car or a luxury car or an economy car. People buy things based on how they treat them. To make a circular car model, you have to think more than just the emissions of that vehicle. You have to think of what it took to produce that vehicle and how long and how many uses can you get out of that vehicle. These are the things that will challenge how we sell cars. It will challenge how we view them. And in my opinion, they're not going to become more like laptops. They've trended that way because of the transition we're in. It's a sacrifice we've made to help invest in electrification. One of the sacrifices has been build quality and less tangibility to the car, less buttons, less moving parts. Can be a good step. However, the result of it is that we've accelerated not only the transition to electric, but we've accelerated the depreciation of cars everywhere, including electric ones. So we need to the next innovation we're going to have is how we can make that acceleration regenerative, where the products out in the world that have been sold can make money in different ways, can return for a second life, and that those cars can improve in their capabilities over time. Imagine buying a car today that was a hybrid and maybe, a couple hundred miles of range and limited functionality. And then in the future, that same car, whether you keep it or whether you sell it to somebody else, that same car can have an updated platform which drives itself on renewable fuels or pure electric, or can even fly one day. The things that are far out in reach remain that way because those products are treated as disposable, dispensable, and depreciative. And the products on the other side are inherently cheaper, and they're just in higher volume, but designed to the same end. They're designed with the same limitations in place. The big trend now of electrifying old cars, it's a good thing to look at this and see innovation there. I support these companies. However, it's extremely expensive, and it's not part of a bigger system. You're getting a very unique thing every time you convert an old car that wasn't meant to be converted. It wasn't thought about. Imagine now, with our brief, if all of those cars from the onset, part of their engineering and their development was future updatability and actually producing an infrastructure that supports that and doesn't have to be a niche product. That's what we're talking about doing with regenerative automotive design. As a designer, we're compelled to look at nature. How would nature do this? Nature wouldn't wipe out an entire species overnight, right? There's an evolutionary aspect, improving the herd. So if we're going to improve the herd of vehicles and we're continuing to make new vehicles, that's an opportunity for us to make those new vehicles with longevity in mind. And if you take that brief, if you say, I want to design for the people the most adaptable car that can hold value the longest for them, and improves in how efficiently it runs and operates and what it can do over time, what we've provided is a solution for having the new stuff and taking care of the old stuff at the same time. And everybody can win. So I set out to create a company centered around a philosophy of making obsolescence obsolete. If we design a car and a system of cars which can continuously update itself, I'm not talking about software updates. I'm talking about firmware, hardware, drivetrain, the things that really matter in the car. They go bad the quickest, right? And if we do this at scale, it's easier for us to produce the cars this way. It's lower risk when things change inevitably. And it presents a future where everybody can participate in the full range of highest tech available on the market. And in doing so, one of the benefits is that people's residual values will be better. Their money will go farther with their car. Part of what we're proposing is a regenerative, adaptable automotive design system. Our RAD system is the solution to these problems that the industry is facing right now. Once our system is in place, we will see a resurgence of belief in new technology coming to us rather than flash in the pan, fast fashion tech, which comes and goes and is actually not sustainable long term. The RAD system is going to revolutionize how people buy, sell, trade, and just view vehicles in general. And it will accelerate us in a better way to transition to any new technology that will fit the future. No matter where you live, what your cultural background is, what your infrastructure is like, these things are changing. They are not universal. And so making a car for the entire market under this philosophy it's imperative that you design and engineer that car with multiplicity of function, multiplicity of drivetrain, multiplicity of technology, and ownership cycles. And if you can deliver a car and a system of car ownership that appreciates in value and that gives the owner and their vehicle extended life and extended purpose, they're going to reinvest in that system. And they're also going to reinvest in it being improved and sustainable. I'm Christian DeLise. I'm the founder, CEO, and visionary behind DeLise Automotive.